Dupré looked at the sheet cakes and the hot dishes on the big trestle table. Susan Klein began to clear dirty plates and take them back to the big dishwasher, and Madeline went to help. Dupré wandered outside with his drink and his smoke. It was spring, a late spring, and the sere land was raw, and the grass hadn't greened up yet. An eagle lazed high in the sun, and Dupré saw its mate miles away, Golden's, fat on the winter kill. Bart's big green Suburban pulled in, well spackled with mud, a sagebrush caught in the bottom of the driver's door. He parked the big wagon, opened the door, and got out. He picked up the sagebrush and held it in his hand, close to his eyes. Dupré walked over to him. "Smell," said Bart. He held out the scrubby plant. Dupré inhaled the bitter, clean scent. There was dust in it, and winter. "Like nothing else," said Bart. "They're gone." "Yeah," said Dupré. "Why they don't ask you maybe buy it?" Bart shook his head. He sighed. "They may have thought it was sort of like asking for charity," said Bart. "Foot's trying to find out who really bought it. A lawyer who acts as an agent for hidden investors is as far as we've gotten now." Dupré laughed. Lawyer Charles Foote was Bart's attorney, and he made damn sure Bart Fischelli was well taken care of, and the Fischelli money. Lots of money. "I don't like it," said Bart. "I mean, the Edys can sell their land to whoever they wish to, but it would have been nice if they'd said something, damn it. I would have bought it. It's right next to the Badlands." "Them Malpai," thought Dupré, "where the ghosts scream when the wind blows, and the wind is the land, too. I ride out there, the hair on the back of my neck prickles. Something there scares me, I don't know what." The Edie place, better than 30,000 acres, was mostly pasture land, and poor pasture land at that, with some hidden swales where hay and grain could be grown. A good place. They had run about 4,000 head on it, shipped calves and yearlings out. Beef masters, they like them beef masters. That man down in Colorado, he don't care what kind of cow it is. She have a calf, fine. She don't, she is baloney right now. So they look like a lot of breeds. What they do with all them cows? It is the spring, they are out, but drive off, leave them. New owners bought the cattle, some millions there. "Dupré," said Madeline, "maybe you play a little now. Everybody, they got them long faces. It is done, so play." Dupré nodded, and he went back to his fiddle and took it out and ran the bow over the strings for a tune. The A string was a little flat. He twisted the peg. Dupré looked up. Bennett C. and his apprentice, the Minneapolis Indian Pelone, was there, just come in from the mud. Pelone's jeans were smeared to the knees. Bennett C. just looked dusty, a neat trick in the short mud season. His running shoes were barely touched. The Velcro fasteners flapped. "Old man," said Madeline, "I am glad to see you. You are coming to supper tonight." "I am not hungry," said Bennett C., grinning, his mouth twisted like a wrung rag. "I am," said Pelone. "Him," said Bennett C., "him confused." "The hell I am," said Pelone. "I could use a shower, too." Dupré laughed. Madeleine poured a huge glass of fizzy wine for Bennett C., and she carried it to him with the gravity of the Pope bearing a chalice. "I am not thirsty," said Bennett C. "Drink this," said Madeleine, "or I get mad." Bennett C. grinned, and he took the big glass and he drank it off in one long swallow. "Not very much," he said. Madeleine crooked a finger at him. "You come," she said. She turned, and her velvet skirt rippled in the light. Her high gray moccasins showed a moment underneath. Her arms and fingers and neck were thick with silver and turquoise. Fine woman, Dupré thought. Scared the shit out of me. Bennett C. and Pelone followed Madeline to the bar. Susan Klein was sitting on a high stool, leaned against the back. Her legs hurt always, the deep scars from the mirror slashing her Achilles tendon stitched and ached after a few hours of standing. She was knitting. Madeline poured Bennett C. more wine and some soda for Pelone. Pelon nodded at Madeleine, and he drank thirstily. She filled his glass again. "Edie's go," said Madeleine. Bennett C. nodded. "Too bad," he said. "More buffalo, though." Du Pré looked at him. Bennett C. put a hand to his mouth. Du Pré sighed, and he rolled the old man a cigarette. "Buffalo," said Du Pré. "Yeah," said Bennett C. "What you mean, old man?" said Du Pré. "Good tobacco," said Bennett C. Chapter 2. Du Pré and Madeleine sat on the smooth log bench he had made for her under the lilacs in her backyard. The lilacs were in bud, but would not leaf for a couple of weeks, and would not flower for more than a month. It was sharp cold, icy, and there was a wind. The sky was a black blanket with stars cast across it. They had a 6-point Hudson's Bay Company blanket wrapped around them. The air was heavy and would frost later. "Pretty sad, them, Edie," said Madeleine. "Yeah," said Du Pré. He was looking at the Wolf Mountains, high and white in the starlight. He pulled out his tobacco pouch and rolled a smoke, and then he lit it. Madeleine took it and had a deep drag. She held it for him. The silver on her wrist and hand shimmered. "You worry," said Madeleine. "You worry about what Bennett C. said." Du Pré grunted. "Old bastard," he said. "Every time he says something, I know I am in trouble. It is like he is fishing. He throw out a buffalo, see Du Pré jump." "What is that?" said Madeleine. She stood up, and so did Du Pré. There was a faint glow on the horizon to the east of the mountains. "Shit," said Du Pré. "It is that Edie place burning." Madeleine nodded. "We'd better go there," she said. They walked round the house and got into Du Pré's old cruiser, and he started it and wheeled the car around, and he gunned the engine, and they shot out of town toward the country road that led to the Edies. Somebody else's place now, Du Pré thought. He switched on the police radio he wasn't supposed to have. "What?" said a woman's voice, the dispatcher in Cooper. Du Pré could never remember her name. "Fire," said Du Pré. "Fire, the Edie place." "Yeah," said the dispatcher. "We know, Du Pré. You were supposed to bring that transmitter back." "It don't work," said Du Pré, switching it off. He put the little microphone back in its holder and accelerated. When they got to the top of the bench and took the road that led off to the east, they could see flashing red and blue lights ahead. The lights would appear and vanish. More cars headed to the Edie place, to the glow on the horizon. The road went across some foothills, spilled down from the Wolf Mountains, and from the highest place they could see the fires, several of them. The buildings were blazing. "Some trouble, them," said Madeleine. "Burn them down after they are somebody else's." Du Pré grunted. "Yeah, they burn the place down, there they are going. But they are gone before this fire start. If it is arson, they are in trouble, yes." "Too many fires for it not to be arson. Some them Edies end up in jail, sure." Du Pré pulled up behind Benny Klein's cruiser. Benny was wallowing all over the road. He was a lousy driver. Du Pré slowed. "Glad we don't got speeders here," said Madeleine. "Got none that Benny notices," said Du Pré. No one in Cooper County paid a shred of attention to speed limits except around the schools. Du Pré drove 100, 110 on pavement, and a little less on gravel, or a lot less if the road was bad. Depended. They dropped down onto a flat and slowed some more. Mule deer were bounding across the road. Benny Klein slowed to a crawl. He'd had a deer come through the windshield of his truck some time ago, and he did not want another deer to do that. The Edie place was in clear view now. The buildings were red with fire. A roof collapsed and a gout of sparks shot skyward. There were several trucks and cars parked well away from the flames. Du Pré pulled up beside Benny's cruiser, and he stopped, and they got out. Benny looked at the burning buildings. "Shit," he said. "About all we can do is piss on the ashes." Du Pré nodded. Everything was gone. Even the metal equipment shed was blackened, the siding buckled by the heat. A burst of